Welcome to Switch It Up. And as you can see, we have a little maintenance going on underneath the HDT. And I thought it would be a great time to kind of ask some questions that if you're going to buy an HDT, what would maintenance look like? How much would it cost? How often do you have to do it? All the questions that I have that you probably have too. So we're going to jump into it. We're going to roll the intro. And we're going to find out everything that they're doing this fine day on the HDT. Roll it.
A man and a woman left their home to switch things up and go on the road. They didn't know where they would go, but it's gotta be better than staying home. They switched it up. They switched it up.
Okay, so what you're looking at is a 2019 Mack Anthem. If you haven't seen our whole build on when we built this and how we cut it and stretched it to put the motorcycle and the e-bikes and the kayaks, there's a whole video on that. Then we actually did a video on buying the HDT and all of those discussions and even painting it. So there's videos on that too. Today, I want to focus on the maintenance of owning an HDT and what to expect and how many filters. 2019 Mack Anthem. We bought it with 497,000 miles on it from Bruckner, which was a dealership down in Oklahoma. Mack Anthem was the specific model that I wanted. Was pretty difficult to find at the time. Now you can kind of find them on just about any kind of websites all across the United States. And price will range anywhere from, if you're going like 4 or 5 years old and that 497,000, 500,000 miles range, is probably going to be around that $50,000 price tag. Maybe a little higher, maybe a little lower, but it's pretty much going to be an average. I have not had maintenance done to it since we got it because Bruckner did a whole service and put new tires on, did all of that when we purchased it. So this is our first, and we're right around, I believe, 26,000 miles. And we called a good friend here in Kansas City. And I knew he had this business for a long time. He's been doing it for 20 years. And instead of taking it to, say, a Love's or somewhere like that, I thought we could ask those questions. He's underneath now doing a lot of greasing, and then he's actually starting to change filters. So we'll go over those details when I can get Braden out from underneath the truck. Grunting going on down here. What are we doing down here?
We're just greasing U-joints and
well, when you get done, then we'll have some discussions. You look very comfortable, though.
Pretty comfortable right now. It's just when you have to move.
We're wrapping up our stay, visiting family and kids. If you look on our tag, we're actually an RV. So we did the modifications to tag this as an RV, so we're not commercial at all. It's not for hire. So all those questions a lot of people talk about. I do have a non-commercial Class A license because the state of Kansas requires that because of weight. And depending on your state, depends on what you're going to be needing as well. So you need to look at all of those guidelines. But I can honestly say I really enjoy owning this truck. I never thought I'd say that because I started with a Ram 3500, but it's been great. Yeah.
Change filter when it reaches this line. So as this starts to get plugged up, your fuel's going to start raising up in there.
Really?
When it gets up to the top of it, well, then you're in trouble. Change it before it gets there. That's a bolt that holds your brake on.
That rattling holds my brake on?
Yeah.
How's it holding it on? Sounds like it's loose.
It's definitely loose. That's one of 6.
You only need 5.
You probably only need 2 or 3, but
might want to tighten that one up.
Yeah. It's not that easy to get to.
Why would they?
There's the nut side of it, but the bolt side of it's back in there.
Who would do that?
What's an engineer?
See, these are the things I need to know.
Yeah. You've primed it enough when it starts. If it doesn't start, you need to prime it more.
Okay. How many people do this themselves?
Not very many.
I wouldn't. Until the
Probably
oil pops out.
Probably somewhere between 38 and 44 quarts.
Oh, really? Okay.
9 to 11 gallons. Every truck's different.
Okay. Got prime too? Or are you still trying to prime diesel?
So, prime the fuel. You want to get up there and
Yeah.
crank it for 5 seconds. If it doesn't start after 5 seconds, let off.
Okay. Let it run?
That's how you know you primed it enough.
Do I let it run?
Yeah, let it run.
So we're just going to talk for like 7 minutes. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions.
You get 5.
Okay, 5's
5
fine.
minutes,
5's
right.
fine. We get 5 minutes, people. All right, so I am with Braden Ansel. Did I get your name right?
Yep.
I did?
Yeah.
Look at me go. And I've known Braden long time. I don't know, 10 plus years?
Probably more than that.
Were you even doing diesel repair stuff back then?
Yeah, I've been doing it since 2006.
Okay, so when we came back to Kansas City, we had not had the oil change, we hadn't any service work, and so I reached out to him because you've been running the business for...
Our own business for 11 years.
Yeah, and his dad, Pops, is over here too,
Yep.
doing something. I don't know what he's doing. You got to watch him.
He's getting the mileage off your truck, I imagine, or he's stealing it. I'm not sure which.
Nothing but integrity here at Generation.
Yeah.
One way or another. I thought it would be kind of cool because I was explaining to him that in the RV world, everyone's looking at buying HDT trucks. It's like this new trend that's happening.
Yeah.
And when it comes to maintenance, well, one, I was doing research. Maintenance on oil changes generally we don't drive that many miles per year.
Right.
So what is a general oil change? What people do for mileage?
Most companies, if they're staying in the city, 10,000 miles.
Okay.
Over the road stuff, they're stretching them all the way up to 40 and 50,000.
Okay, so me being at 25, 27 is not a big
That's
deal.
probably about right.
Okay, so that's something to expect. As far as like oil changes go, he came here, service, versus going to like a Love's or a Travel Plaza or things like that. You can go a number of places, but if somebody's driving down the road and they're wanting service,
Yep.
you're a regional in the Kansas City metro.
Yep.
What's like a good contact on how do people find service people if they're having an HDT? Do they just Google it?
Well,
How do
I
they
don't
find
know.
you?
How do they find me? Word of mouth.
Okay.
So we've been around Kansas City for a while, so
Right.
everything we do is word of mouth. We don't do any sort of advertising. It'd
Nothing.
be hard up to find us on Google even.
Okay.
No Facebook page.
So you're running from the law.
Yeah.
That's
I
fair.
shouldn't say that.
Yeah, that's fair. As far as oil goes, I was watching them because, I'm inquisitive. You had an average oil change is what, 30, you said 35 to 40 quarts?
38 to 44 normally.
Okay. And then I was looking on the side of the engine and stuff. Is this a synthetic oil? Is it?
What we're running now is a 1030 synthetic blend oil.
Okay.
Everybody used to run 1540 in the diesels.
Okay.
The newer engines, they want 1030. All the manufacturers say it's reverse compatible to the old 1540 stuff. You can run it in all the older stuff.
Nice. Okay, so if somebody's looking, whatever rig they're going to buy, do you have a preference in, like everybody has preferences in different, are you a Peterbilt man or you don't
We
care?
don't have time for that conversation.
Okay, that's fair.
Whatever you think's pretty going down the road.
This
they
is pretty. This
they
is all I
have
want.
Problems.
They all have problems.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier, it's like they're rolling rattle traps.
Yes.
Yeah, because bolts are loose,
Yep.
I know, I'm glad you found that one for me. I appreciate that. As far as like a maintenance schedule, you went through and you greased pretty much all the U-joints and everything underneath. Yep. What is kind of like a checklist in your head that if somebody is buying an HDT that they should think on maintenance-wise?
Yeah, so we just basically start front or back, crawl into the whole thing, check U-joints, we check in brake chambers, brake shoes, brake drums, air lines, making sure nothing's rubbing on drive lines.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the oil change, and then you change the air filter too.
Change the air filter, yep.
So it's pretty much a standard thing. It's just a little more in depth through the course of time.
It's basically the same thing as working on a pickup, just bigger stuff.
Okay, now that brings me to the next thing. Somebody old school is going to say, well, I can do that myself. I can hear it already. I hear you.
Yeah.
You're sitting there saying that. We had this discussion, and I was like, well, could somebody actually do this maintenance themselves? And the answer is probably yes, but then we went through the checklist of things.
Yeah.
So share with them kind of like what we were talking about. If you're going to do this oil change, what are some of the problems they're going to run into?
You're going to have to go get all your own filters, so you need to know where you're going to go.
Right.
Are you going to go back to the manufacturer?
Yeah.
Where do you go? Are you going to cross the numbers to, go to Napa and get your own filters?
Right.
We had 3 oil filters.
Yep.
2 fuel filters.
Yep.
Air filter. So we brought all that stuff with us.
Right.
You have to have something big enough to put 10 gallons of oil in and then recover it.
Right.
A way to recycle it.
Where's it going to go?
Yep.
There's a lot of things. It's just not a snap of the finger type of thing. Yeah, no, it's been good. And you've been here, I'd say an hour, maybe an hour and a half.
It takes us about an hour. 2 of us takes about an hour.
Yeah, because they talk so much. I mean, that's all they're doing is talking the whole time.
We do talk a lot.
First question he asked me, he goes, where's the beer at? It's like, I don't even have any beer. If I would have known I was supposed to have beer, it might have helped.
It makes us work faster.
Is there anything as a person that is buying an HDT, is there anything like maintenance-wise or something they should be checking just like as a rookie person? Because when I bought this, I didn't even call you. I didn't even think about calling you. I bought it at Bruckner's down in Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. I went down, I did a walk around. I went through the maintenance stuff that they gave me.
Right.
But I still didn't have any idea what I was looking at.
Right.
Are there things that a person should have like a filter on as they're looking at stuff that they should?
It comes with time and experience.
Okay.
I mean, the best thing to do if you're looking at a used truck is get a good mechanic, have him go look at it with you.
So it's kind of like when people buy RVs, they can basically have an inspection or a house.
Right.
So do they have inspections from like a mechanical inspection
we can go out and do a third-party inspection on a truck, and I can write up what's wrong with it. And
what do you think an average cost would be for somebody to have an inspection done? Just an average ballpark. It's going to be all across the United States.
It's going to be a couple $100.
Okay, so it's not going to be horrible.
I wouldn't think so.
Maybe an hour of labor. Yeah. What's an average labor cost for mechanics nowadays?
Anywhere from $140 to $230.
Okay.
Depending on
where you're at and what you're doing. Man, I'm trying to think, is there any questions that if I was sitting here watching going to get something like this would ask? Is there anything I'm missing that, all the 20 years experience, is there anything?
Every truck's different. It's not like a car. They're not like for like. Every truck's purpose built.
Right.
Engine, transmission, axles. It's all different.
So question then on, I bought my truck at 497,000 miles.
Yeah.
We're doing RV life, and RVing, we don't travel a whole lot through the course of time. I read a lot of things about engine being rebuilt, things like that. What are kind of like my nuances if I'm now rocking like 520,000 miles or whatever?
You're probably halfway there. 800,000 usually.
Okay.
If it's well maintained, million.
Okay.
And that goes for engine, transmission, rear ends.
Now the engine, what is an average rebuild? Do you know how much an average rebuild on an engine is?
25,000
okay.
up to 35.
Okay. So a lot of times some people would probably trade them in and get something different before they even get to that.
Yeah.
All right.
That's usually the goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate just taking the time. He's a man of many words, people. He's always been this way, unless there's beer involved. But I appreciate you coming out. Now, I haven't seen my bill yet. So
he's still adding zeros.
Oh, he's still.
Yeah, as long as we talk,
it times money. That 140 to 240, it's clicking. This video, I need you to like, comment, subscribe, because we're gonna need to make up some of the bill on this one. I didn't even think of that. But I appreciate you coming out. It was really good.
Problem.
Now we're heading south, and we're gonna be gone until May or June. So before we get back this way, and we don't know, we might do another oil change by then. Who knows?
Here's your bill.
Oh gosh. I don't even want to see it.
I kept it under 1,000.
Okay, well, that's fair. Kept it under 1,000.
Good today.
He did good. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions or if you want to see some of the other videos, click at the end of this and thanks for being good sports, guys. Appreciate that. And if you have any questions that you want to leave comments down below, the next time we can talk to Braden, I can get those answers for you as well. But other than that, enjoy, and we are out.